All right, I'm done. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the council meeting for January 19th. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Mayor Patricelli?
Present.
Councilwoman Donovan?
Present.
Councilman Dawes?
Here. I'll ask everybody to please stand. We'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. I'll ask the clerk to read the minutes of the previous meeting.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the January 5th meeting.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay. Motion made second. Call the roll.
Councilman Dawes?
In favor.
Councilwoman Donovan?
In favor?
Mayor Patricelli?
In favor. Okay. Next order of business will be, are we moving right into reports of officers?
Yeah, we'll do the other things right down below.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'll be you. I know last week we spoke about possibly me giving a summary of 2022 as to work performed throughout the city, and I spoke to the mayor about this last night, and as I was starting to put that together, it became more like a state of the city, which I know the mayor is going to be presenting in February. I just wanted to give a couple of highlights. I think we all know it. We've sat around this table now for a couple of years. We did a lot of investment over 2022 in City Hall. Infrastructure with our windows, our soffits. We did our new heating system. We're getting into the air conditioning systems in 2023. Again, investment that has gone by the wayside years before, but this administration took it on. And we did a number of investments in our park system with playground equipment and the new splash pad that we see, which was highly used from residents all around the capital region. Again, a lot of infrastructure was done in our water systems with our lead line replacement, which we received a grant for at no cost to our residents within the city. I think we have 20 plus houses that were going to be done and completed. We have 3 left out of that grant, so we'll have 20 done. Again, infrastructure improvements that, again, have been long since needed. Another area we saw that was in great need was vehicle replacements in our departments. We added 2 new vehicles, police vehicles and 1 detective vehicle this year in 2022. We invested in our ambulance and our fire trucks. DPW also saw investment again with our plows last year, and again we followed that up this year with 2 new small dump trucks that have plows and salters with those. So again, new equipment is coming to it. Amanda had worked on a capital campaign or a capital plan on how we replace that. Again, something that's long since been needed. We only learned the other day that one of our garbage trucks is no longer roadworthy, so we're trying to search throughout the capital region and companies as well to try to replace that vehicle. But there will be hopeful improvements within the sanitation department within 2023. The mayor again is going to speak about this as well, but calls for service are emergency services this year. Calls for police have been up, calls for fire have been up, our code enforcement has been up. We just strengthened our code enforcement department with bringing on Mike Fagnoli, I apologize. He's code certified. He was with the city of Rensselaer. But one of the tasks that Michael's also going to be doing is also be our stormwater coordinator. We're going to get him certified there, which will also alleviate some of the tasks on Dave Dressel's plate. As I said, 2022 was a very big year. We have a number of items. Lindsay will be talking one about Hudson Shores, some of the other parks improvements. Our comprehensive plan was reviewed, and that work will continue into 2023. But again, the mayor will give you a full status on everything that happened in 2022.
I think this will be on sale for February 17th. All right, thanks, Joe. Anything else?
That is it.
Okay. All right, we'll move into old business.
There is no old business on this evening's agenda.
All right, we'll move into new business, and on that, the presentation by Lindsay on the Hudson Shores Park Trail.
Yeah, as I mentioned just quickly there, Lindsay tonight will be here to present on the 80% plan design for our Hudson Shores Park. I think we saw it earlier in 2022, probably mid-year. It was 20% design at that point. We had some questions as to playground, trails, and things like that. And I know we talked a little bit about the restaurant, but Lindsay is here to follow up with us for these design plans.
Thank you, Joe. So what you have in front of you is an abbreviated set of the 80% plans. What I didn't include in this package is the details, the demo plans, etc. This is just focused on the construction. Joe has a copy of the full set if you want to see it. But really, the trail is a 10-foot multi-use path. That hasn't changed much going from the south end of the park all the way to the entrance. So it's replacing the existing 5-foot trail and extending it for a further length within the park. We have 4 play sites along the trail, and we incorporated with those benches along the trail and along those play areas, and we have chosen the playground elements. So you can see the limits of disturbance. That's the green area on the plan, so it'll be fresh new grass once the trail is finished construction. You can see where the play areas are going to be placed. So the first one's on sheet 1, right underneath where the bridge is. The second is on sheet 2. Third is on sheet 3, just north of the pavilion. And then the fourth is on sheet 4. The details of those playground areas are shown starting on, I'll be sheet 4. 5, 6. So you can start to see what those playgrounds are going to look like. We will have, this sheet
401.
401 is where you'll start to see the details of the playground elements.
So C401. It's right lower.
Oh, okay, sorry. So under the bridge, we placed musical equipment. Should have a fun echo off the bridge. It's already loud under there anyway, so why not? Plus benches, so it'll be a nice rest area underneath the bridge. We kept the path on the water side. The second play area, again, this is just south of the pavilion, where the existing path kind of branches off to the restrooms that are there in the parking area. This will have a curb balance beam, 2 high steps, so they're just little like step stones the kids can step on. Another kind of climbing structure. So it'll be a nice little incorporation. We try to keep this kind of linear so the kids veer off the trail, play in the playground elements, and keep going. And this will also incorporate, 2 of the play areas will incorporate kind of a mounded play surface. Since we're using the rubberized play surface, it's not going to be a mulch. It's easier to maintain. We're going to have some mounding elements incorporated, so we'll have a little bit more visual appeal. All of the playground elements will have landscaping around them, low maintenance, they'll either be trees or low shrubbery, so that we're not getting into any sort of visual inhibits, so that it's like 1 foot tall or shorter. And then the third playground area incorporates, third playground element has a climbing wall. It's, a short climbing wall. It's not too tall. We wanted to make sure that we're keeping these areas small enough and we're not getting into a large fall protection area. And then a few more step stones. And then it's, in the first playground area, it's called patter path, but it's really kind of like a balance beam, but steps kind of on either side. And then a rock with kind of a rope climbing wall on top of it. So again, each of these areas have benches around them, landscaping, and we have some additional benches and landscaping along the path. So we are at the 80% plans at this point. Beyond any comments you have on these plans, we will be sending them to Department of State to review and approve, then going to 100% plans and ideally out to construction within the next few months. so that this can be constructed by the summer.
So this gets submitted to the Department of State as it is.
Yes, yeah.
Do you include what the other 20% is? What will be the other 20%, or?
The other 20%, the 80% plans is really the level of detail. So with the next 20% of the plans, we'll be filling out some of the additional details, maybe adding an additional detail, addressing DOS's comments, and putting together the specs.
Oh,
Now, just for, I know, let's say, remembering where this all started from. This is because they required us to have a recreation plan in the development of the park, correct?
It was a grant from Department of State,
Right.
yes, and that was, past recreational components was part of that funding.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because sometimes you got to address some of the naysayers all the time of what you're doing, but some of the improvements were basically, this is a requirement under, and this also is part of the other improvements that we have in there as well.
Yeah, this is these improvements were incorporated into the park's master plan, so these trail improvements complement, don't inhibit any of the other improvements that are either ongoing, planned, or future projects.
Because I know we have the tour boat company, we have the restaurant, and all that, so all this will mesh into one master plan.
Yes, yep.
I know the answers, I'm just making sure that we're stating the, for the record, so to speak, and everybody else will remember what we're talking about.
Yep.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So we're also
Great.
anticipating this to be for spring.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, the next step will be, again, DOS review and approval, and we don't know how long they'll take, but I'll stay on.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm sure that they're doing. Okay, good. Anything, because I know we went over some of this already previously with the playground equipment.
Yeah.
Talked about it, so it's not like we're
Musical
losing
equipment, all that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wish list, yeah.
Yep. Okay,
great.
I'm good.
Sounds good. We'll submit to DOS.
All right, good. All right. Can't wait. Practice on that, practice.
Thank you. Put a little urgent stamp on that.
I'm going to do my best.
Thank you, Lindsay. All right, we'll move into introduction for local law number 1 for the 2023. I'll ask Brian to make that presentation.
So the general manager and the mayor asked me to put together slight change to the city code regarding the garbage truck, garbage containers. So really, after reviewing the code, the only change that would have been required is the amendment to section 168-1.2. So I changed kind of the language, I think, to make it a little bit more clear, but the major change is that currently, people, the code, although I think we've allowed other uses of other garbage type cans, currently the code just requires the 2 small, or allows for the 2 smaller cans. So what we're doing here is allowing for the use of like a 96-gallon plastic wheeled flip top tipper. So although they can put more garbage in a can like that, because it'll be allowed to be hooked up to the tipper, so that people will not have to lift it up and put it into the back of the sanitation truck. So that's really the change. Language changed a little bit. Major change is that we're not going to allow just the smaller cans. People can use 2 smaller cans or 1 larger can, basically, make long story short. So we're going to need to schedule this for a public hearing at the next meeting, February 2nd, and then assuming that everybody's on board, we can have a vote that evening.
So, I have a question. So we're saying that you can only have 1 95-gallon can or no?
That's what this is saying. Yes.
Or 2 of the smaller?
2 is
I get that, but the issue is running garbage for years and stuff. Like, I know, like near the holidays, some of the issues that I came across is, I have a 95-gallon can, okay? near the holidays, if I have people over, I may fill that can. Or if I'm away that week, and my garbage doesn't get put out, that next week, I get a little extra. What do I do in that case?
I mean, we did it now with 2 gallon, or 2 32-gallon
Yep.
cans, right? And the same thing, I guess, would have happened with it. Here, I think you got 32 gallons, it was at 64.
Joe, if you're gonna speak up, please.
You're actually giving greater capacity, I believe, with the 95 gallons.
No, I get that. I know in
Yeah,
the past, we haven't enforced, if we're gonna enforce that, that may be
yeah.
an issue. We might have to address,
Sure.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm taking the holidays, or like if I don't take my trash out that week because I'm on vacation or something, I come back and then I fill that can. I mean, it's not gonna happen all the time, but.
Do you think, are you asking if somebody can put out their 95 gallon or whatever can and another
Small one
can?
or something like
Another
that.
smaller
I
can,
don't
is
know.
that what you're asking?
I know you opened a can of worms with that too, but I'm just
Right.
saying.
Yeah.
Well,
So
as written, right, as written, that would not be permitted. So right now, as written, it's 1 96, 95 gallon plastic tipper,
Yeah.
or 2 of the smaller cans, not any mixture of the two. That doesn't mean it can't be redrafted. If that's what the council wants, it can be redrafted. We just have to start the process over. So then we would have to introduce the new version, wait 2 weeks, have the public hearing, and then pass it. But that can certainly be done if everyone wants to.
And I don't think it would be, I know what's gonna happen is it's gonna happen maybe once or twice, and someone's gonna try to make an issue. Just because the issue, one of the issues we have with garbage already, just thinking somebody's away or they oversleep and they don't put their garbage out that week, our guys don't come back. Then next week, if you got double the trash, or like I said,
Out the
you know,
night before.
what's that?
Garbage should be out the night before.
Well, it should be, but I understand people, sleep in, people get stuck at work on overtime, they don't get home. And, not everybody's got an 8-to-4 job either, where, guys work. I know some guys even have to put their garbage up earlier than it allows because they're not gonna be home. They live by themselves. I mean, I get there's rules, but there's also some common sense in there where, okay, if I got a guy that works a job and he's stuck at overtime, and he lives in the city, he's a good resident, and he got stuck, he couldn't get his garbage out, and he can't leave work till 8 in the morning, what do we do with it? Okay. It's just something to think about,
So right now, there's no limit as to what somebody can put out? If
No,
you wanted to put
I think there
10
was,
out,
no,
I
I think there was always a limit.
Okay.
Always.
So what
Yeah.
happens now, though, if somebody during the holidays has more than 2 cans, what do we do?
I don't know, that's,
Just pick them up?
yeah,
Probably.
The previous version would have been 2 cans.
yeah.
That's what the previous, and 2 of the smaller cans did not allow for the larger can. So when you do the math, then you can fit more in the larger can.
And I get that, but I've known for a fact that even though we had some of these rules on the books, some people did put out 3 little cans and they got picked up. That's, because of certain issues. I'm just, I know what's gonna happen. That's
See,
just-
I've seen a lot of those 96-gallon cans right to the top and then 3 feet above that. So it's hard.
I know for a fact,
I don't know what
my
they have.
neighbor's
They have
can.
1 or they have 2.
I had 45 people over my house on Christmas Eve, and Christmas fell during the week, so garbage was picked up like a Wednesday it is. What was Christmas, Friday this year, whatever. So I already had a couple bags in there at the party, had people over, and,
You were producing a tremendous amount of garbage.
I had 47 people in my house, and I had a caterer, so I
You
wanted
can
to
even
get
recycle more.
that. And you know what though? It happened once. It won't happen again until, but it's that
Right.
one time it happens, that we leave garbage behind, and, it's gonna be, someone's gonna say,
But you did survive.
hey, listen, I don't have a problem leaving the garbage a week in the can. I'm just saying, we live here in the city of Watervliet, and there's people that have a problem leaving a bag in the can. So we need to address that and tell them, you know what, you're gonna leave that bag in the can till next week.
Well, I think you bring up some points that, I know Brian did a yeoman's effort on trying to get this thing recreated. We started our sticker program, which to me is working very well. But you're throwing a little wrench into the process, because if we introduce this tonight and we go with a public hearing, we want to make changes, my recommendation is we pull this back tonight and talk about it over the next couple of days.
And I didn't
then
mean
come
to
back
bring up,
next meeting.
I didn't mean to be the devil's advocate.
Well, no, we've had conversations on this, and now you're bringing up some other conversation that I think we need to have, so I prefer not to go any further with this and try to look at those, if you agree.
Look, I want to draft what the council wants to
Yeah.
pass.
Sure, yeah.
So whatever you guys want to do, I'm happy to make whatever
Yeah.
changes you need. It's,
I sent an email both to Joe and Brian earlier about the same concerns. I knew we were always using the two 96-gallon cans that we had, you know, and that was the rule before, or not the rule before, but I know that's what we used to do. So I know, I had no idea how many cans other people have.
No.
You know,
Listen,
I had two.
I know,
And I never used it.
if I get picked up 52 times a year, I know 50 of them. I don't even fill one can, I get that.
Yeah.
It's that one
But
time.
I think, you know, with that, you know, we add more volume,
Right.
it's gonna impact our fees,
Oh, I-
which haven't been adjusted. So, I mean, this is a bigger conversation now that we're talking about. You know what I mean?
Anytime it's
So-
garbage, it's
Yeah.
always an issue.
Yes,
I mean, we
right.
I'm
can't
just,
bring
I
it-
hate to say that, running it for 13 years, I've listened to everybody's problem over the years from, they can't do this, they can't do that. There's legit reasons why they can't get out. They're stuck at work, they get called in for overtime, they're away for a week and they travel, they come home. I had somebody threw a bag of garbage in my can one time. It didn't affect me because I had enough thing, but, you know, somebody went by, could have been one of my neighbors, just knowing they forgot to put it out, so it happened. It's just, you know.
No, I agree.
So we have much bigger issues than you're talking about people who forget to put it out or who aren't
Yeah.
told to put it out. What do we do about that? How do you,
Well,
How do you
if you,
address that?
so how we did it in the past, if you forgot to put your garbage out, it was on you, but I get that.
Right.
And it is not the city's fault, it's not the sanitation department's fault, it's the person who didn't get up on time, it's the person who got stuck at work, who's, whatever, you know, what was away. But the point I'm getting at is, we're saying you only get 2 cans of 195-gallon can, there's gotta be once in a while. Because even when we pitched this to the city 15 years ago, one of the questions by a lot of people said out there like, oh, what if we have a party? And the city kind of said back then, well, oh no, we understand during the holidays it's gonna be a little heavier. I get what people say and understanding. I'm just telling you, it's living here, working here.
make it 2 cans, 2 big cans for everybody?
Then you're talking volume,
Okay.
then you're
Well-
talking cost,
What is the alternative though?
right?
You know,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
tough.
where do we
That's
go?
what I'm saying, that's why my recommendation is, you know, we need to have the conversations to figure out where the council wants to go, as Brian alluded to, you know?
Because you also don't want people putting a 95-gallon can out, and if they got one extra bag, throw it on the ground, because it's not gonna get picked up.
Yeah.
So you don't want that either. I get it, the rules on the system. I know it's gonna be some issues with garbage, not everybody has an 8 to 4 job, not everybody, people do, and no fault.
right, but that's an issue that has already existed and will continue to exist. I mean, if you want to do a complete revamp, that can be done as well. But right now, the language is you got to put it out by 4 and you got to pick it up 12 hours later.
Yeah.
So if you want to address that, we can address that, but I would need to know how you want to address it.
Like, what are our answers?
Right.
Well, that's my vote. 2 cans for everybody, and anything else, just not allowed.
But I also get, you know, you go to 2 cans, it's a lot more trash. We want to be a dumping spot for everybody and use it.
Well, that's what we're here for, to talk about. So
Yeah.
Yes.
let's talk about it, and then we'll bring it
I
back.
didn't, sorry, it's not, sometimes I think of things and it's.
My feelings are not hurt.
I know. Why are they pick on me out?
Well, you've got experience with it, Chris.
It is,
Yes,
but,
that's the whole
and
point.
and I understand what people are saying, hey, look, you gotta have rules, we gotta stick by them too. I'm just saying, maybe this is what we need to pass, but I know there's gonna be issues. How do we address those issues? I mean, I don't have a problem passing this, but if we pass this with 1 can, and we have these issues, it can't be, oh, because we know this person, we're gonna pick up their extra trash, we don't pick up this person.
Well, you know, as the person who prosecutes the garbage tickets, I don't think you want to be in a position where passing something that we know that people can't comply with, or that you're gonna be asking code to look the other way during Christmas weekend, right? You know, so the document should reflect what you want the code department and the sanitation department to do. So work on that, let me know how you want it written up, and I'm happy to write it up.
Okay,
All right?
that's good. So we're just gonna pull this for now, and then we'll get it back, just back one console. Okay.
May I ask a quick question while we're on the subject of garbage? Joe, how are we coming with having someone walk, like go down the fence line on 787? And
I did talk with Hank about that early in the week, and he was planning on trying to do something Thursday and Friday, but here we are Thursday, and unfortunately the weather we got is what it is. But he does have it on our schedule that we would try to do that, latter part of the week.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. We're going to move into the public hearing for the comprehensive plan.
Did you want to read that, the public hearing? The notification for the public hearing?
Whatever you
I
like.
think you sent it to
We're
me.
gonna, I understand that. We're gonna have a public hearing on the comprehensive plan update.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. See if I can find it. Don't you normally read the public hearing notice into the record, right? No? Okay.
I can if you want.
So we called a public hearing at our last meeting, and Lindsay, 30 days ago, I believe it was, right? We did a little presentation back in January, or December 15th, if I remember right. And we went over the recommendations of the Comprehensive Plan Review Committee on the 2011 Comprehensive Plan. And today we're here to hear the public on any comments of any recommendations to go forward.
So somebody needs to formally open the
Right.
public hearing,
Right.
ask for comment, and then close it.
Usually.
Okay.
I can do that. I thought it was you. No,
I
we'll
thought-
just open up, we'll just ask everybody now, we're going to open up the public hearing for the updates on the comprehensive plan. And anyone here would like to speak on either pro or negative comments or whatever on that plan, can do so now. They can come up and spend 2 minutes and we'll go from there. And there's nobody here to make any comments, so what we'll do is we'll end up closing the public hearing. That's it?
That's it.
Okay, so we have our public hearing. Thank you, Lindsay, for your help. Okay,
We'll have the final plan to you all tomorrow.
okay,
That's great.
okay.
Maybe we should file that.
That was, did you think, right?
Maybe we should file it.
That was a big reaction and after.
Appendices of the original.
Right, at the meeting this morning,
Yes,
yeah. All right, we'll go into the next resolution then.
Resolution number 7 for 2023 is a resolution approving an agreement for professional services between the Albany CSO Pool Communities Corporation and the Capital District Regional Planning Commission.
I'll make a motion.
And I will second it.
So this is an annual agreement with CDRPC. It also has communities like Albany, Cohoes, Manans in it. We all pay proportionate shares to CDRPC for services they render, and this agreement will take us through 2023.
Okay. Are there any questions on it?
Questions?
We'll call the roll then.
Councilman Billups,
In favor.
Councilwoman Dunn,
Favor?
Mayor Patricelli.
In favor.
Resolution number 8 for 2023 is a resolution adopting the City of Watervliet Comprehensive Plan 2023 amendment.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we move on resolution number 8 for 2023.
I'll second that motion.
I think the resolution is self-explanatory. We held focus groups, we held some meetings under Lindsay's guidance through Verity Engineering, And we made recommendations to this council on the 15th of December with the presentation, and we're asking for those to be adopted tonight.
Sounds good.
And call the roll.
Councilman Dawes?
Favor.
Councilwoman Donovan?
Favor?
Mayor Patricelli?
In favor.
Resolution number 10 for 2023 is a resolution appointing a member of the Board of Assessment Review.
I'll make a motion that we move on resolution 9.
And I will second it.
So we had, I think it was Don Hogan? Don Hogan stepped down for the Board of Assessment, and the gentleman moving into that position is Mr. Scully. He'll carry out the term ending through September 30th of 2027. Mark Scully, yes.
So that's a full term.
Oh, is it
So
full term?
Mr. Hogan finished out his term September of '22. This is pointing to that full term.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Call the roll.
Councilman Dawes?
In favor?
Councilwoman Donovan?
Favor?
Mayor Patricelli?
In favor.
Resolution number 10 for 2023 is a resolution approving a contract for the use and docking of vessels at Hudson Shores Park and authorizing Mayor Charles V. Patricelli to execute all required documents regarding same.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we move on resolution number 10 for 2023.
I'll second the motion.
This is part of the rebirth for the Hudson Shores Park. Brian worked with the Hudson Cruise Company, as well as Lindsay, I, and the mayor as well. We attracted this boat company to our shores, and they will be bringing up 2 boats from their former place in Hudson. One is like a 30-foot vessel, the other I think is a 60-foot vessel, but they're guided for tours of the Hudson River, and I think we're probably going to be doing it just north of Albany is going to be the shoreline cruise. But that'll bring them here, and they'll be docked at Hudson Shores Park.
How's the docks?
We just talked about that Monday or Tuesday of this week. They gave us a price on it. I have to bring that before the council to approve that. We'll get them certified, and then we'll close with the owner of those ramps at this point. And as far as the docks themselves, I've had several conversations with Louise Company. They have 200 feet over in Starbuck Island. They only need 50 this coming spring. So we're working out a decision, are we purchasing or leasing for season 2023 and what we're going to do in the future. So we haven't closed that out yet.
That's exciting. That's
Good.
great.
So the resolution and the contract will allow up to 3 vessels. I think the anticipated right now is 2, but it would allow for up to 3.
Excellent.
That's
Go
great.
ahead. Call the roll.
Councilman Dawes?
In favor?
Councilwoman Donovan?
Favor?
Mayor Patricelli?
In favor. Thank you.
Rather, that concludes the new business on this evening's agenda.
Nothing? Nothing on appropriations and account?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, good. Just before we open up the comment period, I got a couple things I want to just talk about. I know we just had the street light, the contract signed. There was a nice press release on it. I think it seems like it was well received so far, so we'll see how that goes. Well, a couple other things, Joe. How are we sitting with the water chestnuts at the reservoir and the boat and the transport? Have you got an update? I meant to ask you about that.
Yeah, so I'm trying to close on when we're going to actually get the harvester and the boat from the company that we, Dave and I spoke to latter part of fall.
The transport, right?
The conveyor belt
The bigger
and
one, okay.
the transporter. Honestly, the last 4 calls I've made to the gentleman, they haven't been responding. So I don't know where that program sits at this point in time, but I'll have a better answer for you in a couple of weeks.
One of the things Barb and I attended a meeting today at the Clean Energy at the county, and they did a CERTA presentation. I started doing the presentation, and like that. But they were talking about the solar and how are we making out with the solar and the energy, let's say, review here.
We looked at them, and I made a presentation back a couple of meetings ago.
Oh, yeah, well,
Yeah, I have checked them a couple of times over that period of time. The use has not gone any higher than what we saw before. I did see one car parked there, so I meant to log on to see what that unit was charged with.
well, that was the electric vehicle one.
Yeah, that was,
Just talking
yeah,
solar.
and while I'm talking the bulk
Okay.
presentations. So I just need to get on and see where we are with it. But the last time I did check, which was probably about 4 weeks ago, they were all operating at that time. I didn't see any problems or any issues that we had.
Okay.
I'll confirm that and send you out a
Would
today or
you, I just
tomorrow.
want to make sure that somebody's we're again watching it now, just so we know, at Hudson Shores, we have solar on the boathouse, and we weren't able to really monitor that because we didn't have internet. Now that we have internet,
You should be able to see something up and running.
well, we need to tell it to be up and running, so, right? Because there is some, I don't know how to get into the internet there, but I know that's from the camera company. They've been
That's
doing
through
that.
Intervid.
Intervid
I've
and,
got a meeting with Pete tomorrow about the library, so I can ask him about that.
They just came online, I think it was, Wednesday, when we saw it in my office?
well, they've been on, yeah, probably a week
Yeah.
before, so like,
Yeah.
I think they had one more camera to somehow or another connect. I mean, it's recording, but it's recording on a card.
Yeah.
But the rest of them are online.
And we have to adjust one, so when Peter does come, take a look at it, I'll show him the one that's kind of just facing towards the ground. I
Okay.
want that to come up a little bit so we can scan a little better.
I just have a couple of quick things. Like Third Avenue, like when we start paving the roads again in the spring, we might want to look at this or try to figure out what to do about it. On Third Avenue in Port Schuyler, northbound side, it's kind of between 4th Street and, I don't know, at least the gazebo, maybe up to 7th Street. There is a big, like the rut.
Where the rails are?
Yes.
Yes.
That is getting so much worse. And the same thing is happening. I don't know if there are rails underneath Broadway, but on Broadway, well,
Just north of the
it's-
gate on the west side.
right. Wait, the Northway, over here? The
On
north,
the-
north of,
North of the gate, north of the main, the old gate, and on the west side. It-
yeah, down by Woodburn Warehouse.
No, I think it's before that.
Down by Woodburn Warehouse is
There
really
is-
bad. You
oh,
must-
is there?
you haven't hit
Oh,
it in your
okay.
car
Right.
because it's a little
To
smaller.
your point, Bart, there's a little bit crumbling, there's some roadway breaking up over by the wood burning warehouse, which
And-
we attribute to the bike path paving. That is a conversation we have to have with Martin and LeJudas
Okay.
and Louise. That was brought up in our department head meeting, as well as these rails.
Okay.
I should also say to you guys as well that the paving is going to take a little turn this year because Mark Cady and I learned that we could actually go on the county's paving bid, whereby reduces our cost per ton. So we should be able to do more paving next year if we can piggyback on their paving
This year.
for 2023.
2023.
Yeah, in fact, Mark is trying to get a meeting for sometime next week or the week after with Albany County so that we can show them our plan and start showing them our streets. So, but Third Avenue was brought up and the wood burning warehouse. We do know those because it was at the,
When Third Avenue was paved, however long ago it was paved,
yeah.
someone said, or people said, it's gonna happen again.
There's railroad ties.
Yeah.
The same thing at 19th Street's got the same thing.
Is that really, is that?
It rots underneath, right? Is that what the deal is?
I don't know.
That's what I
You
heard.
can see
we
it
were
at
told
metal on
they-
19th Street.
Did you all?
No matter how many times you fix that, because of the way them tracks were,
you don't-
that wood just rots, and then every so many years it just starts.
So
Yeah.
you said you
We were
gotta
told
take it
that.
out. Yeah, yeah. Kind of figured Broadway was something like that too. And the only other thing is, could we maybe sit down sometime and talk about that email that you got, Joe, about getting Verizon FiOS in the city? And
Yeah,
how do you go about doing a
yeah.
write-in campaign?
So the conversation I had with Verizon, and when I talked to you about that shortly thereafter, the day we appointed our police officers last week, it's a write-in campaign.
Yeah.
So we need to put something on our website or do something that people can log on to, which will take them to the Verizon site, which is nothing more than their name, address, and zip code. They look at it by zip code, just like all these companies, like Trader Joe's and things like that, when they're coming to a company, or coming to a location, they look at population, they look at the zip code blast, and that's when they try to bring it here. So it'll be the same type of thing, it's gonna be a marketing campaign. The gentleman said he would be happy to help us try to design something, but it's
Oh,
as
that's great.
simple as put something up on our website, make people know about it, and then it goes right to their website, and they log right on.
Okay, and for some of our older residents who don't have laptops or internet,
Yes.
maybe we could do a handwritten signature. You know, if somebody's interested, I would go and, you know.
Yeah, that I don't know, I didn't talk about it, but I certainly can follow up,
Okay.
you know, about handwriting.
Is there a certain percentage that we can take out, like 50%?
Oh, that's a good
25%?
question, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question. I honestly don't know, Amanda, if they look at it, they look at population, and they look at, just like we do at traffic counts, right? They look at
Yeah.
counts, what are coming in. So if you're getting, you know, percentage-wise, I assume that's what drives it.
Because I think that's what drove the Clifton Park one, right? I think it was the Clifton Park, they got the file sent.
Yeah, it did
Yes.
combine. We waited about 3 years for us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Clifton Park, there was another company like Greenlight or Greenlit or something like that, that was coming in and putting in internet lines and.
Yeah. There was a gentleman that was very interested in helping us from the city, Mark Nichols. I have his number and email, so we could give you that. And have him help as well. He was happy
Yeah,
to
that's
help.
great.
Yeah, he was happy to help.
All right, anything else?
I do, see, I have just one question for you, Joe. So, we did that work on 19th Street, 12th, we painted all the lines and all that stuff.
19th and 12th, are you talking?
Like the crosswalks, all that
Yeah.
stuff. National Grid came in, like, 2 weeks later, and dug up that road, and like, some of that painting now, it's no fault to us, or, you know, there's no turn, it's basically, do we have to just eat that and redo it ourselves, or do we contact them and say, hey, can you fix it? Yeah, guys. I mean, it's beautiful looking blacktop, but they basically took out the arrow, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's,
If it makes you feel any better, I'm about to send National Grid a bill for $204,000.
You gotta speak louder.
Oh, sorry.
Can't really hear you.
I'm about to send National Grid a bill for $204,000 for new permits for 2022.
okay, I'll paint the road myself.
Well, I think one of the things too,
No, and it's not, I mean, they obviously had to do that, but then, because you gotta dig, I understand that, but also
Yeah.
it's like, you know.
Council can pass a local law which would put requirements on how they
Finish.
hit or change the holes that they dig and replace the pavement, et cetera. So,
They should make it like it was when they did
right.
it. Yeah.
so,
Well-
the City of Albany has a very good and detailed local law on it that I can provide all of you so you can take a look.
yeah,
Joe, the other thing too is, in addition
No,
to
just go
that,
straight, you can't turn.
in addition to that is, we definitely have to start pressing for First Street, because that is absolutely horrendous.
yeah,
I mean, that's worse than I've ever seen any other street,
yeah.
you know. Now, I
That
know
got
they've been
really bad, really fast.
Well, they dug it up a
They were
lot,
digging all weekend.
they've been, I know they've been working on patching, but again, now it's all patch. You know, it's just an incredible amount of patching, all the way from Third Avenue, all the way past the city line, you know, that they do. So we really, I don't know, I know we had other streets that they had to repave themselves, but that is definitely one that we should be looking at.
Yeah. I know Dave Dressel, Hank, and I had a meeting, conversation with National Grid Planning. And to your point, Chris, we talked about when they come in and they do all these digs, we have a road section detail on how we got to pour concrete and so on.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
National Grid now knows and accepts that. But they also talked to us about, there's a way for them, when they know they're going to do a percentage of the road, and I think it's, let's say it's 30 or 50%, whatever that number is, they would agree to actually paving that entire road, and we have to work out the calculations as to cost and so on. So that's a conversation we had, maybe about 6 weeks, a month, 2 months ago.
I mean, and it's not their
You know.
fault, they had to dig there, but
Right.
it was like,
Right.
just painted it.
But they're trying to do something progressive with it. I believe they're doing it in the city of Albany, And that's why this Brandon guy has called us to say, here's what we can do for that. So it's a matter of once the construction season, gets back into paving again, what those numbers would be. So,
And that would be the same for First Street?
well, that's what I got to talk to Tom Romano in. I think if we could push the 2 municipalities and get National Grid to do that, yeah, I would agree. We could probably look to do that. But I have another idea with that. I'll talk to a company about on it.
Sounds good. Can't solve all tomorrow's problems, so solve a few. All right, is there anything else to be brought before the council? The next meeting will be February 5th, and then with that, I'll ask for a motion.
February 5th or 2nd? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
February 2, though.
Huh?
February 2,
Oh,
I believe.
It says February
February
2nd as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's right, we have the public comment. Good.
For the record, that would be Groundhog's Day.
We'll have the public comments, go ahead, David.
Kind of feels like Groundhog's Day.
It does feel like it.
At this time, the mayor and the council have authorized a public comment period. If you wish to address the council, please step forward, state your name and address, and you'll have 2 minutes with which to speak.
Okay, we'll open up the public comment period, there's no one here, I believe, unless Lindsay wants to make a comment.
Good.
No? Good, all right, and with that, we'll close the public comment period. Now, again, the next meeting will be February 2nd. Right, February
I see
2nd.
now why you said the 5th. I see now why you said the 5th.
Right, I'm just reading it off the paper. All right, and with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
And I will second it.
Call the roll.
Councilman Billups,
In favor.
Councilwoman Dunn,
Favor?
Mayor Patricelli.
In favor. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. See you on the 2nd.